I want to say welcome to Wisconsin. For those that don't know where we're from, we're actually a company that's based in Madison, Wisconsin, just a couple hours west. And so it's wonderful to have all of you here. I want to talk a little bit today about why social media, as we know it, is really changing. In a lot of ways, it's I'll say it's dead because not too long ago we as all of you as companies that are doing social media and things like that, communities were just building, and now we have these massive new channels to reach customers and things like that, and now we're at a place where you're really going to have to challenge yourselves quickly because this space is only going to continue to get bigger, and ways to reach consumers and customers that way is going to be that as well. So what I'm going to do this morning, I'm just going to run through some quick facts that I think are really interesting and something we can debate a little bit together. And I'm hoping that you guys will make this a little interactive with me. I have some questions and things that we're going to ask. I have over here to the right of the room, I have Michelle Doyle and Rachel Madden, who are two of my colleagues, so welcome them. And we're going to ask some questions. And if you guys would participate, we have some prizes for each question. So we'll go through that. Sound good? All right. Real quick test of the room, a couple questions. How many of you are directly involved with social media with your companies? I know that many of you are. Okay, great. This is going to be better than worse, I think. So, real quick check of hands. How many of you have heard of Shoutlet before? Okay, that's great. So I'll tell our VP of Marketing to not be the title sponsor. I'm joking. Joking. All right. So who we are, just real quick. This will be a little bit of our commercial here. Is that we're a social media management platform, and we're helping companies that manage their social presences. And I think why we're pretty unique in the space is we empower marketers to do it themselves. The tools are designed to take control and be able to build Facebook pages, build social pages, be able to build applications, talk to your consumers, all in one dashboard, and that's what we do. So today, this topic that we're going to talk about is just about data, and then why it's important that you need to do something about this sooner than later if you're not already. There's some statistics that have recently come out. This is about what it'll look like 5 years from now. This is a Gartner study about the rise of the marketing spend relative to technology investments, and how the CMO will in fact have more of a technology budget than the CIO. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, that just, so I've been in the digital space for about 10 years, and that just sounds insane to me that's happening, that now, marketing is so focused on technology, and it's so digitally focused now that's actually going to be a reality. What that also tells me is that CMOs and marketers and things like that, we really have to understand data, and we have to make sure that we're making investments in technology. It's no longer that you can kind of just rely on the IT group or someone outside of marketing to make. That's pretty interesting. The question I want to ask now. So if you guys, if I could have a volunteer, this will be for one of our first prizes. Can any of you guys volunteer and talk about maybe one or two examples of technologies that you've purchased recently as a marketer, if you've been a decision maker, and it did not involve IT at all? So great. So Michelle in the back of the room, would you mind just introducing your name?
Year, and I can't think of anybody on technology that would really involve in that process, except for maybe a check the box to make sure the systems are compatible.
Mm-hmm. Great. I'm in the sales organization, but more of a marketer than in technology, and it's I think from being able to move fast and make decisions, it's really the marketers are more empowered now to not be delayed by IT decisions and things like that. Another statistic that I think is really interesting is just the fact that we've moved very quickly in the space to become pretty sophisticated with social programs in general. And maybe since some of you guys are involved, you may be doing some of this already, which is fantastic. And I've got a campaign example that I want to show as an example. Really, social media campaigns, even so, in the last 2 years, went from the conversation in the conference rooms was about just posting to our audience, right? Can I publish a message to Facebook and Twitter and reach these audience? And that was sort of the extent of it. Now, as as we've evolved over the last couple years, the campaigns have been much more sophisticated. And some of the statistic, this is an altimeter report, is really just to show everything across the board: adoption rate, the number of companies that are offering tools and giving you options and all that kind of stuff. It's just unprecedented. I think you may have seen some of the headlines. Companies in the social media management space are being bought for nearly $1 billion by core technology companies, just kind of the level of importance of it. And so the question I have, so my next volunteer is, real quick question before I do this for the group quick poll is, how many of you are using a social media management system today in some way, shape, or form? Okay, great. So about half the room. So this is something I think for those of you that aren't, this is probably something you need to start thinking about with data and things like that. So one of the Michelle, if we could pick another volunteer for a prize to answer this next question. Is anybody out there that'll take this? That's the fun of it, right? Well, any of you that have had a social media management tool, I'll give you the questions so you guys can feel more comfortable and at ease here. Anybody that's willing to share a success story of social media management, just kind of quick, if you guys had a problem and solved it with a social media management tool. Anybody out there? Great. Okay.
We're a global company, PC company Lenovo. The biggest issue we had was every country was going off developing its own pages. Mm-hmm. So we had complete chaos all over the globe, with different ways of managing our social communications. Mm-hmm. So we put in a social management platform on Facebook and got all the countries to align to that platform. Mm-hmm. Under a global page, which was not ideal for them, but now we've spun it off and given them local pages. But the fundamental clear strategic thinking by having a platform that gives them something to work on, as opposed to having complete anarchy and chaos.
Yeah. That's great. That's probably order in the house. That's the biggest thing that's been solving. Now this evolution. Now it's no longer going to be about that you're putting in controls and you're understanding who your audience is and those sorts of things. So now you can move forward and start to think more around behavioral data and things like that. I'm going to kind of move on, but just to go through a couple more slides here around data, is that we talk a lot about data. We're always talking about data and the challenge of that and how much there is to manage. And this particular slide that's up here is that it's a report from IBM about if CMOs feel prepared for how much data that they have today and then in the future. And this list is just a lot of different functional areas. It's talking about, are they concerned about growth of specific channels of where they should market? And one of those bars is social media. And social media is one of the largest areas of data that's growing. So if CMOs are feeling under-equipped today, it's only going to get more challenging. Another thing that I think is pretty interesting is these same types of reports, talk about, and I mentioned that I've been in digital for about 10 years, and we always talk about wanting to use data, the digital channels to be more personalized, more relevant. We've talked about that like in email marketing and different spaces like that. Really, CMOs and marketing departments are struggling with what I consider now to be traditional digital type programs. And now social media is now unlocking personalization and timing and those sorts of things. So I'm going to show you an example today of a campaign, and then just of a brand. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the publishing sweet spot and thinking about a campaign, just to kind of open up some of your maybe your thoughts, and if you guys have any questions and things like that, it'd be fun to talk about here. So when we think about social media campaigns, there's kind of three areas that we think about as a company about running a social media campaign. So one is the daily interaction on your pages, right? So a lot of your companies probably have people that are there to respond to posts and do those sorts of things. So you have to do that and be real time. The second is if you're in the marketing group, you live and die by your marketing calendar, so you're going to have different campaigns that you're going to run along with that. So not only do you have to deal with kind of what's happening on your pages and things like that, but you're also concerned with your brand and running campaigns and those sorts of things. The third area is something that we're going to talk about today that I'm probably guessing you're not doing a lot of, but you will, and you should start thinking about it, is being able to start triggering messages based on what's happening with your social campaigns. So we talk about data is a challenge. We're putting in social media management systems to organize it. Now we need to really unlock and be tailored to our communities with good messaging. So I want to walk through an example here. So here's the scenario. This is a brand, Summit Active, and what they're going to do is launch and this is an outdoor store, and they sell online backpacks and hiking and different types of things like that for the outdoors. So what they're going to do is launch a campaign that's going to be to promote a new line of backpacks. And so we're going to walk through it and talk about this. This is going to run over several weeks, and this is something that could be executed with a social media management platform and some smarts from a good marketer. This wouldn't take an entire team and a massive investment. These are the kinds of things that are reality, and I'll show you an example of a client that does this today as well. So Summit Active is going to, they want to get excitement and generate buzz around this campaign, and so they're going to launch a sign-up form onto Facebook. And this is to sort of pre-sell this campaign. And what they want to do is gather email addresses so they can email individuals and start this kind of small group to start the buzz around this campaign. So they launch this out to their followers, everybody's sharing this to their friends, and they're capturing email addresses right off of Facebook. So on a post that we had promoting this is we're going to encourage everybody is that if you like our post, then and so many of you do that, and we put the goal at, let's say, 200 people, then you will unlock this offer to you, right? You will unlock this offer to have 15% off of backpacks, and that's another example of something that can be triggered and automated. Now that we've done that, now the promotion is going to end. So let's say 2 to 3 weeks have gone by. the backpack campaign was a success. We met our sales goals, that sort of thing, and we're ready to move on to the next campaign. Then automatically we'll schedule the refresh of the default content of the page so we can gear up for the next campaign. And so that's an example of how that can work and all be automated. This will be the only screenshot of our platform that I show, but I must because we paid to be here. But this is an example. What I want to talk about is that sounds great, right? That campaign, and how it can be done. And what's really important is technology is now making it easy to enable that. That used to take a village of people to be able to do and to touch and things like that. And we have tools and that will allow for you to plan and build very sophisticated campaigns, monitor them. And also, important point, and I'm really passionate about saying this, when we talk about automated, is really make sure that you're always having control and listening to what's happening day to day, because you can't be robotic and things like that. You really have to engage the audience. So you have this tool set and dashboard to really move pieces and move campaigns around and things like that. An example of a customer of ours is Qdoba, and these is the first, if you guys can't see this, what this says is if your first 200 people like us, then you'll unlock an offer to get a free entree. If you don't hurry and you become that first 200, then the next 300 will get the chips and queso. And if you miss that group, I don't know what you get, but it's probably not as awesome as the free entree. This is an example of the companies that we work with. So we work with a lot of companies in virtually every industry. I think now we have over 400 to 450 customers, and they all are using our platform. So it's they might engage their agency or things like that. But I just want to go back to the point that we're here to empower marketers. Please see Rachel or Michelle today if you have any questions maybe about what you guys are doing, or if there's a customer that we have that's similar that you'd love to talk to and understand what they're doing. Happy to make that type of an introduction as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Eric. As he mentioned,